Hey there, it's Laura, and today I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the discomfort of change. Because I think the discomfort of change is the main reason we don't change, right? So it's not because we don't want to change, it's not because, well, I don't know, it's not because we don't want to or we're not motivated, right? It's just that discomfort can creep in and really sabotage our best efforts. And I think someone says that discomfort is the currency of change, right? Like we know that change is going to be uncomfortable. It just is. And it's well researched. There's lots of different change models and curves we can look at. But the bottom line is that change is uncomfortable. And so one of the things that I was thinking about last night, so we went down to the National Harbor last night, and my dad was in town. It was last minute and it was very fun to see him. But down in the National Harbor, there is a Ferris wheel. And I have a bit of a fear of heights, a bit of a discomfort there. And we went on it anyway because my son really wanted to go on the Ferris wheel. And my dad was like, yes, of course we can go. And so we all went on the Ferris wheel. And the first time we went around, I was so uncomfortable. I literally thought that if my purse like fell off the bench, it was going to fall down into the river. Like when we're in an enclosed gondola, right? Like that's not going to happen. But it's just so like uncomfortable and nervous, and my body was in that place of like, is this going to be okay? Am I going to die? This feels very dangerous and scary, and kind of got myself a little bit off balance. But that was the first time around. And the second time around, it was easier. And the third time around, it was just fun and it was relaxing and the discomfort went away. And it really got me thinking about the discomfort of change, because one of the things with that discomfort is that it will eventually go away. The more we practice the new way, the easier it gets, the more normal it feels, the less uncomfortable it is, until we get to a point where the new way feels like the normal way. The new way feels like you've always done it that way. And so I think it's really important to know that eventually the discomfort will go away, but it only goes away if you stick with the change long enough for it to go away. And so that's the part we really have to consider as, am I willing to be uncomfortable for the length of time it requires in order for that discomfort to go away? And I think this is a really important perspective, because when we want to change, it's because something is uncomfortable now, right? We change because we want to feel better, or we want something that we enjoy more, or there's something that we are uncomfortable with that motivates us to change. And I think the real options we have are to just continue with our current level of discomfort with the current way, or be willing to accept the discomfort of the change to get us to that new way. And here's the tricky part. The discomfort of change is greater than the discomfort of staying the same. So even if what you're doing right now feels really uncomfortable, or let's just use weight as an example. If you don't like the weight you're at and that feels uncomfortable to you, that is a level of discomfort that you're already familiar with. You know what it's like, you know what to expect, and it's a level of discomfort. The discomfort that goes along with changing your lifestyle is initially going to be higher than that discomfort of where you currently are. And how do we know that? Because so many people stay in the current way. If it was easier to change, if it was more comfortable to change, then we'd change. So the question is, are we willing to deal with the increased discomfort temporarily so that we can get to a higher level of comfort in the future? And that's why I think change can be really hard, and it's something that does take a lot of commitment and a lot of energy and effort. And I think it's so much better when we have a level of support to go through the change, because the change will be harder than what the current way looks like, even if we're not comfortable with the current way. So I hope that makes sense. I think about this in lots of different ways. One of the things that I'm uncomfortable with is doing these lives. I get this level of discomfort when I come on here and do it. But I know that the more I do it, the more comfortable I will be. And that discomfort is worth it, because otherwise I'm going to deal with just kind of a low grade level of discomfort all along of not doing it. So not doing it is uncomfortable. Doing it is more uncomfortable. But I know the more I do it, the more comfortable I get, and then I get to move forward with the way that I'm looking for. Another thing that I've recently started doing is reaching out to people for speaking opportunities. So I love speaking. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I've set myself a goal for the number of times I'm going to reach out about speaking engagements. And I get nervous every time. I get so uncomfortable to reach out and ask people if they're interested in those engagements. But I know that the more I reach out, it will just become a habit. It'll just become routine. It'll be so much easier. And because I have faith that it will get easier over time, I'm willing to stick with that discomfort, because it's also uncomfortable to know that I really want to be speaking and I'm not asking anybody if I can, right? So dealing with those elements of discomfort so that I can get to a point where overall I have less discomfort and more opportunity in the direction I want to go. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. I'd love to hear from you, just what kind of your biggest takeaway from listening to that. So what is your biggest takeaway related to the discomfort of change? All right, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.